Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Elias Erber, who will fight on FNC 27, February 7th. Hello, Elias. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
And in just few days, you will fight another fight. It actually will be your second pro fight. So, if you can tell me, what do you think about your opponent and how excited are you that you will be back in the cage?
I have to say, I'm very excited to be back in the cage. It's going to be the biggest event I fought on by far. And yeah, I'm right now, I'm trying to enjoy everything to the fullest. The hard work is done. Now it's the fight week. Of course, there's still the weight cut, which isn't fun, but the hard training, that's all over. And now I'm enjoying the fight week. It's just some little training sessions, nothing hard anymore. The hard work is done, and I cannot wait for Saturday. I'm going to enjoy the process till Saturday, and Saturday is the grand final then. So yeah.
And do you know anything about your opponent? So maybe what kind of style he has, or did you watch any of his fights?
Of course, I like to study my opponents a lot, and my coaches even study the fights even more than I do. But yeah, he had a good amateur background as well. He fought some good guys in his last fight. He won the Cage Warriors Academy title. But yeah, stylistically, he's more of a striker. He's more of a boxer. He's explosive. He throws combination, and of course he's dangerous. But I think we developed a very good game plan, and I'm very confident going into this fight.
And like for your pro debut, for your like pro fights, it's possible to search anything about your opponent, but probably when you are amateur and you fight in like IMMAF tournament, when there are a lot of options for the opponents, it's probably a little bit harder to study.
Yeah, especially for IMF, like if you fight someone from Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, first of all, they never really have any fights online. And the second thing is you only have like one day before you know your opponent and you can start to study. So I think as a professional, for my type of learning, it's a lot better now that I had 8 weeks to prepare specifically for that opponent to make a good game plan. And yeah, in IMF you had to be a little bit more spontaneous with the game plan and everything.
And of course, you are like a super accomplished fighter as far as the amateur scene. And at what point did you know that it will be a good time to go pro? Because for European fighters, they have usually a long amateur career, but for you, it's over 30 bouts. And actually, it's a kind of rare thing to have such a big number.
So I think it's very important to have a long and good amateur career to experience everything as an amateur in beforehand so that there are no new things to experience as a professional. And a lot of people, in my opinion, make the mistake to go pro too early because they say, yeah, I need money, I want to fight in on the big stage on in front of a lot of people. But I think it's very important to be patient, to wait until the right time. And for me, I'm 23 years old now. I had 35 amateur 34, 34 amateur fights, and essentially I accomplished everything I there is to accomplish as an amateur. And for me, the timing now is, I think, perfect. So 2 years ago, it would be, I also already had a lot of fights already, but 2 years ago maybe it was too early for me. But now I think it's the perfect time to turn pro and build myself, build my build my career as a professional.
And I'm actually a big fan of like amateur fights because in the end you can be like 10 and 10 and be undefeated as the pro, and nobody really looks at your amateur record. And of course, you were like a super accomplished fighter, a champion as the amateur. So even it can be sometimes hard for your opponents to take fights with you because you are not like 1-0 guy. You are like much more experienced and much more dangerous fighter.
Yeah, I think the especially now and the next few fights is going to be still hard to find opponents that make sense in my career, because I had so much amateur fights and still I'm only 1-0 as a professional. So yeah, that's a little problem, but we'll get it done. And also, I think too many young amateurs are like trying to build a good amateur record and trying to not fight the best guys that are available. And yeah, better you lose some fights against good competition than you all only fight trash cans and build a good record as an amateur, because as a professional, one day you will meet some good guys, and if you haven't faced really good opposition as an amateur, it's going to turn out bad. So, and nobody cares about the amateur record in when you're a professional.
And if you can tell me what was the first combat sport that you ever trained? Because watching your fights is obvious that you are like very good grappler. You are excellent in back taking, in submit people by rear naked. But was it like the BJJ or any like grappling sport the first thing that you train?
So the first thing I started was judo. I started judo when I was 5 years old because my father is a judo trainer, and both of my brothers also do judo. So there was really no other choice than to start with judo. So I did judo for 8 years when I was a kid. And then I didn't really want to do it anymore, maybe because I trained too much as a kid. Then I switched to soccer. I played soccer for 2 years. I did some ski jumping. Where I come from in Bischofshofen and Salzburg, ski jumping is a very big sport. So I did that for some time. Then I discovered parkour and free running, and I also loved that. That was my first thing that I really wanted to go professional at. And then by accident, I got to a small MMA gym, and since then I stayed doing MMA. That's kind of the story. Yeah.
And the first like full MMA gym was that the team and gym that you are right now training with?
No, I've switched locations, so now I'm living 3 hours away from where my family lives. Uh, just because the gym, the coaches, the possibilities for MMA in general aren't that great in Austria. So I'm very grateful that I found a really good gym now. Of course, I had to move away from my family, and that wasn't easy. And now as well, it isn't easy to be, especially in training camp, to be away that long from your family. But after all, now I feel like Graz, where I live now, is my second home, and I have a lot of good friends, training partner, trainers. So I feel like at home as well here, and that's very important for me. And I'm grateful that I found a very good gym in Austria, because in Austria MMA isn't that big yet, and you have to be very lucky to find good coaches and a good team.
But I believe that the scene like develop a little bit. Like there are few fighters in the UFC or like in other big promotions. So maybe in like a few years it will be like the even a bigger thing.
I hope so. I hope so, and I hope that I can be a big part of that for to make MMA more popular in Austria, and to bring Austria on the like MMA, just to make Austria known on the in the MMA world as well, because right now it's not really known as an MMA country yet.
And I saw that last year you train in few places, like few countries. You've been in like Thailand, Poland, and do you plan for this year also to go to other parts of the world just to take some knowledge?
Yes, for sure. This year I want to go to America for the first time, like 5 6 weeks. That would be very great. Yeah, after this fight, now we're going to make the plan for the future. When's my next fight? Where the training camps are going to be? So at least I want to do at least one like big training camp. Last year did that was 5 weeks in Thailand. I also enjoyed that a lot. This year I think it's going to be America, and I hope it's going to be America. And one smaller camp, like 2 weeks, again, maybe Poland or Germany, something like that, or England. But yeah, I love to travel, see places, and do what I love, and that's MMA.
And for US, do you have any like specific like at least options to go like gyms?
I thought about it. There's like two main options I'm considering. Either Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas. They have a lot of good bantamweight fighters, of course, Marab, and also the LFA champion trains there, so that would be great. Or Colorado, Dwayne Ludwig. I love TJ Dillashaw. I love his style, and it would be very great to train with Dwayne Ludwig. So one of these two is going to be pretty sure it.
Yes, in the US there are so many great options that you can pick the right gym for like your style, or like you can pick also the perfect coach for you.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only problem is you never really know if the good guys are, if you can really train with the good guys, if you can train with the coach, or if you're just a number. And I think you have to be lucky a little bit to find the right gym, and that the coach really looks at you, and if you're not just one number there. So yeah, I hope I'm going to make the right choice. And yeah, I cannot wait to go there. Experience America for the first time. I'm for sure they have very good food as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
And right now, when you are in the training camp, do you have any like drills or exercise that you really don't like, but you need that they are necessary to do?
Oh, for conditioning, I think nobody likes the assault bike. So I think that's about the worst thing, like assault bike intervals. I hate them, but it gets your cardio up for sure.
Yes, and like Merab or a few other fighters showed how important the cardio is. That you can even lack a little bit in some other areas, but you have, if you have a great cardio, you can be even at like championship fighter.
Yeah, you can be the best technical fighter if your gas tank is empty. All the techniques are not for use anymore. You cannot do them anymore if your gas tank is empty. And if you have good cardio, it's a very big. Uh, it's very important. It's very important. Yeah.
And after this fight, do you have like timeline for next few months? So how many fights you would like to have?
Yeah. For this year, I would like to do 3 more fights now. February, then I have to talk with my coaches, of course, but then probably June, July, or August, second fight, and then at the end of the year the third fight. So that's the plan. And regarding when I'm fighting, then I'm planning my training camps around that. And yeah, yeah.
And for the same promotion, or maybe something different.
For sure, I'm going to fight for FNC at least one more time, one or two more times. but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
And about like the bigger goals, do you think that like do you consider like UFC the main goal for you? And if yes, what is like the timeline that you would like to get there?
For sure, the goal is to get to the UFC, and without being cocky, the end goal is to become UFC champion. If I think that's the goal of every young up and coming fighter. So the timeline would be go 4-0 this year, then 3 or 4 more fights next year, and end of the year, end of 2028, beginning 2029, Dana White Contender Series or short notice UFC. That would be the written out ideal plan, and I think it's going to be happening like that. End of 2028, beginning 2029, then Dana White Contender Series or UFC.
And
Yeah.
because you have such a big experience as the amateur, even right now when we are a few days from your fight, do you feel any like stress or like nerves, or because you been in a similar situation over 30 times, it's like no big problem?
Of course of course there are some nerves and I'm a little bit nervous, but I think that's 100% normal. If you aren't nervous, you don't care enough about winning. So yeah, I think I've learned to, especially the days before the fight when the hard work is done, to it's only at maximum 50 minutes, so it's over so quick. You have to enjoy it, because otherwise why are you doing it? If I'm like very extremely nervous and overthinking everything 1,000 times, then maybe it's not the right thing to do for me. I love fighting. I like the process of everything, the weigh-ins, refueling, then going into the arena and fighting in front of the people. Of course, I'm nervous. Of course, I'm happy when it's over, but I try to enjoy it the most I can.
Yes, and this kind of good nerves, good excitement is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But if you like it can be problem.
It really can be. If you overthink it too much, it's in the cage. You shouldn't think anymore. You should just do what you have done 1,000 times in the training camp, in the preparation. And if you start thinking in the cage, it's not a good thing.
Okay, Elias. So many thanks for the time and for conversation. I hope that you will win your next fight. You will beat a really good winning streak, and your like dream of UFC will happen in the timeline that you mentioned.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.